So welcome everybody. I'm Michelle Foss. I am president of Green Bellevue, and I would like to welcome everybody to our annual meeting and board elections. We've got a lot to go over today, so we'll go ahead and get started. Once I figure out my controls, there we go. So today we're going to do just an overview of Green Bellevue. We'll go over the budget. We have a fabulous year in review video that our new planning and communications coordinator has put together for us. We'll talk about the initiatives, reports, and updates for what happened this year. We'll start looking at next year, and we will have our board member elections. So the mission of Green Bellevue is on the screen, but it's basically to have a greener, cleaner, more beautiful community. And our community extends beyond the boundaries of Bellevue. One of the exciting things about living in an urban community, and one where we're on the state border, is that our community is much bigger, or it can be much smaller depending on what you're doing. Our vision is for that community to extend to the world. So we want everybody to have more sustainable lifestyles throughout our entire community. And wrong direction, I apologize. There we go. So who are we? Well, Dawn, you're still muted. Uh-oh. There you go.
I'm unmuted. Thank you. I wasn't able to unmute, so thank you. I would suggest that everybody look at this and go straight to the bottom. Green Bellevue is you. We are a group of volunteers. We are united in so many fronts, but we are successful because of all of our board members, all of our individual groups and members. And that's the thing that I want to stress. We've been in operation for 11 years, and we couldn't do what we do without all of the volunteer involvement. So from me to all of you, thank you very much, and stay tuned. There's a lot more to come.
I'm struggling here. Thank you, Dawn. Dawn is one of our founding members from 2009. As is Ruth, and I think I saw Tom on here too. So yeah, we've been around for a little while now. So this is our current list of directors on our board. So Dawn, who else on our board started off with you?
Nancy's been on board for probably all 11 years, right, Nancy? Nancy Scott?
I'm having problems unmuting myself, but I think Ruth covered it. Ruth, Tom, Nancy, Scott, and myself were some of the first people involved. Other people were, but they're not necessarily still on the board.
All right, so we have representation of individuals, of students, and of various organizations in our community. I am from Fontenelle Forest. We have people from Bellevue University. We have OPPD, yeah, Hillside Solutions. We've got people from all over. All right, so we even have a staff position to help keep us organized. When we started out, it was grassroots and it was all volunteer. And as we got rolling, we realized we needed some help of the paid variety. So Brittany Dabastani was our first planning communications coordinator. And instead of letting her actually go and retire and do other things, we recruited her to be a board member. So Brittany has served on our board as a volunteer board member for the last year as well. We had Libby Ray from last December through May. And in September, we hired Katie Preister on as our new planning and communications coordinator. And she dove in head first and has been planning and communicating ever since. All right, our treasurer, Jennifer Hulsher, will talk about our budget. Jennifer, if you can't unmute yourself, type into the chat and let me know, and I'll see if I can. I think I fixed that problem.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, perfect. All right, the budget we had revised to earn 24,883.47 and to spend 24,883.47. I did a tentative budget for 2021 and showed us making a profit, because in the real world, in reality, you're never going to spend exactly what you brought in. There's always going to be a small profit. Nonprofits are not truly nonprofits. There's always some profit because there are operating expenses. So also, when I did the 2021, it was with the understanding that Earth Day was going to be live and not virtual. So again, that'll be something we'll need to address. The income that we did actually raise this year was $24,729.24. 15,630 was at Earth Day, and the goal was 15,900, which in reality was very good considering it was our virtual with Omaha Earth Day. It was wonderful that our sponsors stayed on board and didn't ask for their money back or to move it forward to the following year. Omaha Gives, we netted 1922.03. Believe in Bellevue was a new nonprofit funding, and we raised 829.34. I am told that it's going to continue, so there'll be another one next year. That was only a $50-some investment for that profit, so that's a pretty good profit margin. Northrop Grumman grant, the $800 was for the composting at Bellevue. Our expenses were $6,076.77, with $1,659.51 as the advertising and supplies. Obviously, Earth Day was less because we didn't have the actual event.
Right.
So we currently have $19,336.92 in Access Bank. In the savings, we have $11,645.78. At Cobalt, we have $78.81. PayPal, $139.43, for a total of $31,294 in money. So there's quite a bit to carry forward to next year.
Yep, that'll be one of the big topics in our planning meeting as to what to do with those funds.
Now the grants that are listed here, Northrop Grumman and Cox were the only two we received money from this year. And the Believe in Bellevue, I take that back, Believe in Bellevue as well. So when I did the grant portion of the budget for 2021, not knowing what these other grants offer, I haven't put anything really in that And so that'll be something I need for discussion so I can kind of budget that in there. Also, there's the thought of, with COVID, how many will be offering as much money? Because again, their funding might be limited as well. The 2021 year is kind of up in the air, as we don't know how COVID's going to progress.
And that's pretty typical for many nonprofits, especially right now. Some of the other organizations I'm involved in were having the same problems.
So I'm budgeting a little bit lower this year, just for the fact of the unknown. We really don't want to revise your budget to fit your P&L. It should be the other way around. Again, nobody could have anticipated COVID this year, but next year we know it is a possibility. So I'm being a little bit more conservative with the budget until I know how we're going to distribute that money we're carrying forward. Again, once we decide, then of course that will change the budget as well.
Mhm.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Jennifer. The budget's been quite a work of art this year. All right. So next is a video about what we have done this year.
See if we can make it big.
Can everybody hear that?
Yes.
thank you to Katie for getting that set up for us.
Excellent.
All right. And now I gotta find the slideshow again. Okay. Right. So that was a little bit of our exciting year there. And correct direction. Okay, so the main initiatives that we worked on were zero waste, caring for plants and wildlife, clean energy, and education and outreach. And I need my control. There we go. So, as we mentioned, COVID-19 definitely impacted us. We were able to partner with Earth Day Omaha, and we had a half-hour segment on Earth Day, which was completely virtual, where we had the opportunity to highlight our environmental champions, our sponsors, and some of the projects that occurred over the year and some of the things that continued through the year. We had our monthly programs starting in June virtually. So we're all still working on getting Zoom figured out and making the best of it that we can. And all of our board meetings are now held via Zoom. So one of our big initiatives is zero waste. So Jillian Cromwell is going to talk a little bit about what we've done with zero waste.
Thanks, Michelle. Hi, everybody. Like Michelle just alluded to, we were kind of sidelined a little bit for a lot of the live events that we have done in the past. So we weren't able to do as many of those this year, but we definitely focused heavily on education. Educating the public is still a big priority for us. So we've continued that education about public collection sites, how to recycle correctly, the changing markets, everything that's going on with recycling globally, and the zero waste hierarchy. Go ahead, next slide, Michelle. Fortunately, through those education efforts, we've enabled quite a few people in the metro to start exploring zero waste for themselves. And a big part of that has been expanding Compost Club. So Hillside Solutions, we have our residential composting program called Compost Club. And this year we added a new site with the help of Ruth within the Bellevue city limits at Church of the Holy Spirit. So that's very exciting. And it's been really great to educate people on how they can divert waste in their own personal lives. And the Compost Club has grown greatly this past year, so we're feeling very excited about those efforts. And if anybody is unfamiliar with the Compost Club program, you can check it out at hillside.solutions/compost club. And we're always looking for more sites. So if you see any white space in that map that you think you might be able to host a site, let us know. We'd love to get another site out and help more people compost. Next slide. Yes, and I believe Don will be talking about the Glass Man, is that right?
Yes, I can take that. We have a new recycler in Bellevue. It is a private company, and they are down off Fort Crook Road, right at the entry coming into Bellevue from the north. They will take glass that they use recycled containers that they've collected to drop off at your house. It is a pay, so it is a fee system. So we put that on our website, and a lot of other resources are also on our website. We have unfortunately had to take out our glass and our recycling containers from 2 of our parks where they had been very well received and used, but due to some misuse of trash, they were reaching the point where the city could no longer put the time in to haul off the trash. But we're starting back in, and at the fire station where we have some oversight on 36th Street, we have reestablished this glass container, and it's been going very well, and I'm hopeful that soon we can put another recycle container there. Thank you.
And we were very fortunate this year to, well, I guess it was kind of right at the end of 2019, the very beginning of 2020, where Project Revitalize got into effect at Bellevue West. And we were able to start composting in the cafeteria there. Unfortunately, it was cut a little short by COVID. But Baden, if you'd like to talk about the efforts that have gone on there with the FBLA, it's all very exciting.
Thank you. So basically, I was the lead of Project Revitalize. It was our 2019-2020 community service project. And basically, the parameters of that project is basically just causing some sort of change in your community. And we came off of the fall last year. We did a coffee shop, and we started working actually with Jillian Cromwell, funnily enough, and started composting in our coffee shop. And it was pretty simple. So we basically decided if it's this simple to make it work in a coffee shop with just some cups, why don't we take it a step further and try it in our whole school? We really had no idea what we were going to do for a community service project, and so we were kind of bouncing around ideas, and we thought this one would be a really good one that could really start a conversation around our district. It ended up being successful. We, in our first week, had over 50% waste diversion in our lunchroom, and with Bellevue West having approximately 1,600 students, that was a very big surprise to me. And as Jillian kind of mentioned, our efforts have kind of been cut short a little bit by COVID because our lunchroom changed quite a lot. But they said that once the restrictions start getting cleared up and things and the lunchroom is able to go back to normal, we will be able to start everything back up and have the initiative go again. I already have people in place to take it over when I graduate. So all around, it's a really fun project, and I was really happy with the results.
And kudos to you, Baden, and the other students. Your project came in nationally in the competition, third place nationally, I believe it was. So
Yes, we did.
way to go.
All right, on top of zero waste, we also deal with plants and wildlife. Tom, do you want to talk about our Tree of Heaven initiative?
Yes, we used about 5 gallons of spray, and we're working Jewel Park with 2 people from the Parks Department and a few people from the tree board. It seemed like more trees of heaven or ailanthus trees where new ones were popping up. We've estimated we've killed over 1,000 ailanthus trees, and we'll just keep at it, and we kind of expand a little bit outside that park. Don, Don, if you would hit Alt-A, you might get unmuted, and that's for anybody, but that's beside the point. That's going good. We'll be doing it again next year. There's so many ailanthus trees growing in this city that the end is far in sight.
For those who don't know, ailanthus, or Tree of Heaven, is an invasive tree from Asia. And what it does is it grows really, really fast, and it shades out other trees. It also poisons the soil around it so that other plants can't grow. It is one of the more awful Tree of Heaven, or awful invasives, because it takes over. The other problem with Tree of Heaven, and one of the reasons we keep seeing new ones pop up, is if you damage one of the trees, it sends out clones through its root system. The most depressing study I read about it said that it can send shoots up to a mile away from the tree that's injured. So, as Tom said, this is something we will be dealing with for many, many, many years. That doesn't even include the seeds, which are wind dispersed, so they go pretty far. So that is why the city and Green Bellevue and the tree board and a lot of other conservation organizations are so adamant and so intensively treating this invasive. There's a couple of other ones that get treated as well, and Green Bellevue helps support efforts on getting rid of invasives. And on the flip side, we also do tree plantings. So Nancy. Or Dawn, or both.
Nancy may be coming in, but I will start. I'm so proud of the first picture that you see with the 3 children in it. They are our future, and to have children helping us plant was wonderful, as we particularly planted on a playground right around the play equipment this year in Gilder Park. We were able to plant the trees successfully. We were able to, with the help of a neighbor and long hoses, get them well watered in, mulched, staked, and we put wire around them to make sure they get the best start to their life, keep balls, lawnmowers, deer, and other things from injuring them. We have to date, as we have planted every year for both Arbor Day and in the fall doing these plantings, 11,071 new trees in the city of Bellevue, all on public property. And we encourage other people to plant trees for our future. The second picture that you see there too includes Miss Nebraska Earth, Angel Strong. I don't know if she's on today, but she's been very active with us too. Thank you.
So sorry about that. Yeah, so tree plantings. So on top of that, we also have done a rain garden cleanup. Is Tyler on? Nope. Did anybody else work on this with them that wants to speak about it?
Michelle, this is Don again. And yes, the tree board got a grant and Green Bellevue about 10 years ago. And we started this rain garden at the trailhead on 36th Street by Culver's. And it was a beautiful rain garden, but over time, some weeds invaded it and it was starting to look a little rough. So we have the Bellevue Native Plant Society that approached me and said, do you have any areas of native plantings? And I said, oh, can I help you? So they came forward, they did an assessment with us. We brought Big Muddy Workshop in who designed it, and they helped go over some things. John Royster did. We're grateful for all of these volunteers and groups that help us. But they had a first work day. They've since had a second work day, and they're planning a third work day next Saturday, 6 days away. If anybody would like to help us on that work day, let me know. We've got some information, and basically you show up with plenty of lightweight clothing so you don't get stuck with anything. It's not a difficult job, but it's just time consuming. We want to get all the seeds out of there so the weeds don't keep reseeding. But it's another one of those wonderful exhibits of rain gardens that can trap excessive amounts of rainwater. Thank you.
And a new native garden at Everett Park.
And this is one, unless Tyler is on now. Tyler, are you there? This used to be a rose garden. It was a test plot, a national test plot, and it was in place for over 10 years that Joanne Langevy did, who's on our tree board. And over time, some of the roses were impacted negatively. So we've moved out the roses that were remaining, and Tyler and the students at Bellevue University have put in native plants. So it will be a pollinator, native plants, garden, and it's been planted, it's been watered, and it's starting to grow. Thank you.
Nancy, would you like to talk about your milkweed project?
Nancy may not be here, so I will do the
Yes.
best that I can.
She's on, Dawn.
Oh, go ahead, Nancy, I'm sorry.
If you're muted, Nancy, you can hit Alt-A.
Nope, she is not muted.
She must not have.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, it was my hearing aids getting in the way. Nobody could hear me about the trees and nobody could hear me before, so my hearing aids are no longer on. Last year we gave away close to 1,000 milkweed plants. This year we didn't give away quite as many, maybe about, I don't know, 400 or 500 during the summer at farmers markets and some other places. And then we gave away, Don and his friend gave away, Marianne gave away plants for the garden. Many of them pollinator plants at the farmers market every lost this thing. Are you still? Am I still there? Hello?
Hello.
Am I still?
You're fading, Nancy.
Okay, I don't know what happened. The screen disappeared. But anyway, we gave away pollinator plants. Some of the other things that we did was we have done education. We didn't do any this spring, but as last fall we had gone, we did, my friend Nancy Cruz and I went to some Iowa schools and then the Jewish Academy in Omaha, and we did monarch and pollinator education there. And then in January, we went to Mexico and did almost the same programs. In Mexico, we also did with the kids here, we did a mural on fabric that the kids in the United States gave to the kids in Mexico. And we started one from Mexico, and then sort of everything happened and that one never got finished, but we're going to be finishing it. What else? Oh, the Hubbard Sustainability had a program on pollinators that Nancy Cruz and I also, and we also have a book that we have been selling, and all the money from that book and Green Bellevue's been helping me with that. All the money for that goes for the forest in Mexico. I can't remember anything. I can't see the screen anymore, so I can't remember.
And Nancy also helped us with the farmer's market, as she just said, bringing those milkweed plants to give out. And people were very receptive to taking the plants. Many other pollinator plants that Marianne dug out from her garden, we also gave away. It did help us with some donations. I ended up making 3 deposits, coincidentally, all $99 each. And I just made a last deposit of the donations we received, and that last deposit was $33. So it was some income to us. We gave out over 1,500 face masks. We gave out reusable bags, educational materials, answered questions, referred people to our website, and signed people up to get on the website. All social distancing, as you see in the pictures. We set the example by wearing our masks and being safe. And to my knowledge, there were no contacts with COVID during our successful farmers market. So it's a wonderful experience in Washington Park that we're looking forward to doing again next year. And it was great to have Nancy. And as I said, you see in the center picture there, also Angel Strong, who drove up from Lincoln each week to help us. And she was great. And on the far right, I was so pleased to see Katie's little daughter, Jamie Sue come with Katie to the market, and Katie was able to work with Nancy and some other people on helping to get connected to our internet and our email. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for working on that. Don, you're up again with clean energy.
Oh, and do I like clean energy? Yes, indeed. We were slowed perhaps by COVID, but nothing stops Green Bellevue and the wonderful people. That was true of the National Drive Electric Week and the National Solar Tour. And my home and my PowerPoint and information was available on those. And actually yesterday, I still had an actual tour by one of the UNO civil engineer students groups, and their instructor came out. So we were all masked up, but we did virtual and a hybrid, doing it in person. So we're giving people examples of electric cars and also how they can do their own home solar. It was an opportunity to network with people, answer their questions, and give them resources, including Nebraskans for Solar, who has been a longtime partner with Green Bellevue, and the Nebraska Sierra Club. Thank you.
All right. And one of our main initiatives every year is Earth Day. Ruth, do you want to go ahead and talk about Earth Day?
Sure. So up until, the middle of March, we were planning our Saucony County Earth Day. We had started celebrating Earth Day our first year with Green Bellevue. It was a tree planting. We had the mayor read a proclamation about Earth Day, and the next year, we disseminated information in all the different businesses in town. We called it the Spring into Green Bellevue proclamation, and the next several years we continued to hold celebrations that were kind of small but very meaningful. Then we began to have want to pull the community together that we have been working with all year, so that we could sort of put on display and educate a greater number of people. And so we started, I think it was in 2012, a Earth Day celebration, and we wanted to offer this memorable, sort of unprecedented, fun venue for the community to celebrate Earth Day, but also at the same time raise awareness for the environmental needs in the community and in the world, and provide education and teaching about friendly practices, so that hopefully people that came would leave with something new and begin something new in their lives, so they would start something. And so it was in 2014 that we realized that in the community itself, Bellevue in our county was the only one making a larger celebration, and we wanted to pull in the other cities as well. This was at the time that we started a campaign called Lighten the Load to the Landfill, and it was regarding all of us concerned about the fact that our landfill was going to move 60 miles away, and the trucks that it was going to take to haul all of our trash 60 miles and back was just going to be a huge carbon footprint. And so we thought if we pulled in the other cities, that we could begin an initiative, an effort to lighten the load to the landfill, to improve the recycling practices. And so that was our major theme that year, and we continued that for a couple of years. But it was really important for us to begin to work with a greater group of people from around the county, rather than focusing on Bellevue only. And so 2014 was a big year. We moved it to the Lead Activity Center and continued to just grow the event over 2015, 2016. this coming, to celebrate the 50th anniversary, we wanted to even take it to a whole new level. So we were going to move the event to Bellevue University. We had a committee planning. We had about 75% of the event planned. There was a huge focus going to be on student projects and education of the projects that had been taking place in the community. We were going to have a lot of fun things like a pop-up thrift store. We were doing a scavenger hunt for young people that would result in, making money at Earth Day if you learned certain things. And there was, let's see, what other things? Oh, we were going to have several colleges represented, promoting, sustainability programs on their campuses. And so, there was a lot coming together for the Earth Day. Then we found out, so many things were needing to be canceled, and to actually gather together would have been very dangerous for us. So we shifted for the 50th anniversary into a virtual Earth Day, which many of you participated in. And there were, thousands of people that were able to participate in the virtual nature of the Earth Day. So regardless of what's going to happen in the coming year, I think we are definitely going to continue a virtual option for Earth Day, because we were able to reach 2,100 viewers, and the social media aspects of this last Earth Day was 60,000 individuals were estimated to be contacted for it. So that's part of the goal of the Earth Day event itself, because I don't, there's a lot of people that still don't focus on Earth Day. So putting it into the public eye is very important, and every day is Earth Day, and we hope to continue from there. So we'll go ahead and go to the next slide. This is kind of a review of what we did do. For the last, well, since 2014, since we started the Sarpy County effort, we have been getting all 5 cities to do proclamations. The mayors draft the proclamation and read the proclamation. Most of them read them at the city council meetings. And so we, were able to accomplish that again this year. You see Sarpy County has a proclamation. We thought to invite them to do a proclamation for us in the last couple of years. So this is a really big deal, because it, involving leadership, the grassroots effort is powerful, but having the leadership also stand in front of our community, in front of all the residents, and to say, this is a very important thing for us to focus on, is a really big deal, and we'll continue to do this each year. What's nice is originally when we started, we drafted the Earth Day proclamations, and then they adopted what we drafted. But now when we get the proclamations back, we usually send sort of, here's an idea to use, but most of them are already drafting their own. So it's something that we started, but they are continuing to do. And again, that's very important for us to have our city and county leadership behind the Earth Day and environment efforts. We recognize environment champions. That's something we've done since our very first Earth Day. It's really, really neat to, just put these people out in front of, the community to acknowledge the efforts, because there are a lot of people that are, educating, they're doing projects, they're educating themselves, and, just volunteering in many, many ways. And so we acknowledge our environment champions every year for that. We were amazed at the sponsors. We do tend to have a number of the same sponsors each year want to support us. Each year we grow as well. We've got a number of new sponsors this year. And, we had done all the reach out early in maybe January, February, started to get the confirmations. And even when, we found out that we weren't going to be able to have the face-to-face event, which, you know, has their names be able to be seen by the public at our event. There was only one group that asked that we put forward their sponsorship till 2021, and everyone else, you know, still wanted to support Green Bellevue's efforts. So we did our best to put their names out on social media, but we were very blessed to have maybe about almost $16,000 sponsors this year. So we have a tentative date. The date we always target is the last Sunday in April for Earth Day. But, you know, again, we don't know what Earth Day is going to look like this year. So we want to, you know, meet as a group. We're going to meet at the end of January to begin the planning for Earth Day. But all the things on the first column under leaders needed are things that can happen whether there is a virtual Earth Day or face-to-face, which would be, you know, of course we have to coordinate and do marketing, and we can go for sponsorships and Environment Champion Awards. We're going to do the proclamations again. We can also have a virtual aspect for vendors to, you know, even in my technology world where I work, there's tons of virtual vendor conferences. So we could do something like that. And of course, our programs and speaker series can all be online. An art show could be online as well. We love to have the art. In the last many years, our elementary schools in Bellevue have had an art show sort of contest, and we get maybe, you know, 100 posters of a theme that we give them to draw, and get some gorgeous art from the young people. And then also we've been getting some art from senior level, high school level. And I mean, this year they were planning, there was a couple of schools that were planning to actually sell some of their art at Earth Day, because they really turn out some gorgeous pieces. So we could still do an art show. Then other things, you know, that we could do if we're face to face. We always have like a transportation aspect. A couple of years we had Ollie the Trolley to try to bring people in to from Gretna. And we've had a trash and fashion show, which again could be online if need be. We've had youth activities, you know, like recycle relays and face painting and fun things for young people, bounce houses and that kind of thing. And then also the programs like for teens and young people. That's our biggest demographic that we want to pull in. And so we want to do things kind of on that very last column there, the pop-up thrift store, scavenger hunt, having music on site, and then, you know, college majors. And so we, you know, really want to have programs that young people want to participate in, and also have young people participate in putting this effort on. So there's a number of aspects to this. We've always had a really strong number of young people as volunteers at the event itself, which is always great. And, you know, if we are on site, having food, you know, present is fun. We usually have, we, you know, want to have organic foods, healthy foods, those kinds of foods available for people to eat and enjoy. And then we've had electric vehicle showcase. We've had athletic events. This year we were just planning to have, there was going to be a cycling event that, you know, was going to leave in the morning and then end up at the Earth Day event. And then we've had 5Ks for many years. We weren't planning that for this year, but those are fun. They bring in people who like to be out and do healthy things. And of course, you have to have healthy air and a healthy world to be able to be healthy. So that's where we like to attract sort of the health people. And usually every year we put together some sort of t-shirt as well to commemorate the event. We had a lot of different ideas about that this year. As far as like having you bring your own shirt to create a shirt on campus, that was one of the ideas. So there's lots and lots of things to do to make it a really fun event. And so hopefully you see yourself participating in those. What we do is we usually have a leader over each one of those bullets so that it kind of breaks it down and doesn't make it too large for any one person. And so you just focus on planning an event, and then all the events show up together. So anybody else have anything to add about Earth Day? That's it. And there might be another slide. Okay. Yeah, that's it.
All right, so on the second Sunday of most months, except for December, we usually have a program of some sort. Over the last year, we heard from the Papio NRD on urban runoff. We heard from Graham Christensen on regenerative agriculture. We heard from Jillian on zero waste. We had our virtual Earth Day segment on Earth Day Omaha. Dr. Dave Pantos presented on climate justice. OPPD gave a presentation on power with a purpose. We screened the short movie, The Burden, about fossil fuel dependency and how it is actually a national security threat. And our last meeting was Youth in the Environment, which highlighted Project Revitalize, Students for Sustainability, which is a group of Omaha high school students, the Creighton Climate Movement, and Our Climate. Next month, we are going to be hearing from Jim Kavanaugh on COVID-19 and its impact on the environment and current events. So this is in collaboration with the Green Omaha Coalition, and it's going to be a very interesting meeting. So I hope you can all attend. Mark your calendars now. It's November 8th at 1:30 p.m. right here on Zoom. So what we already have planned coming up for 2021 is our kickoff for Earth Day planning meeting, which typically happens in January, and that is on the 31st. Our February meeting is a city effort on protecting pollinators, and we'll be discussing more in detail about Bee City USA from the Xerxes Society. In March, we'll discuss Bellevue's options for zero waste. They're increasing, which is a good thing. And April is our Sarpy County Earth Day celebration. So check out greenbellevue.org or our Facebook page to learn more about anything we have coming up. And that brings us to next year. Here's where you guys get to all get involved and start talking about ideas. So I have an old-fashioned pen and pencil and paper on standby here because I can't do more than 2 things on my computer at once before I get confused. And let's talk about some of the options for what we can do next year. Initiatives, programs. What is Green Bellevue doing? So some of the things that we've already discussed or that are typical programs and initiatives are up here. Like I mentioned, Bee City USA, our Bellevue University partnership, Zero Waste, Earth Day, the Trees and Pollinator Gardens and Milkweed Project, Community Solar, increasing composting, Bellevue Public Schools, getting more young people involved, new partnerships and programs. So what thoughts do you guys all have?
So, hi, my name is Maddie. My big thing is single-use plastics, and there's a movement going along sweeping the entire world about plastic bags and plastic straws. I did a research project with plastic straws and sit-down restaurants that was really successful and got a lot of good feedback to reduce their single-use plastic rate usage by 65%, which was very successful and impressive. And I feel like that should be something that we should get behind, whether it's the plastic bag situation, banning it, or talking about alternatives. That's like kind of my jam. So like I would love if we kind of like also talked about that, did some stuff with that.
Okay.
We did have one year, our, theme for Earth Day was pass up plastics. And yes, we need to continue that. That should not be off our list at all.
Thanks, Maddie.
One of the thoughts I had was on the zero waste efforts. We have I think twice a year, the city cleanup. It's called the city cleanup, which is really the bring all your stuff to get thrown in the landfill. Where they collect, just you're supposed to clean out your garage, and people just take all their stuff, considering it junk, and it goes to the landfill. And so there's been various years where we've, taken the time to focus on that. And I just think it should become sort of a regular thing where we could put together some, kind of how we've done Earth Day, which is we have a lot of partners, and, at first putting it together was a big deal, but now everybody sort of looks forward to it, has it on their schedule, and they're going to do it. So it would be nice to put together more collections of things like, computer equipment, and, like we can get a grant each year to do like, I don't know, paper shredding and tire collections. And, there's just a lot of things that people want to get rid of that even the city won't take at that collection. So we could, do a big styrofoam collection. Well, city would take that, but, just different things that the city won't take, as well as things they will take that we don't want to go into the landfill, because it could actually go somewhere else and be diverted from the landfill. So I think that would be cool if we could put that together I think it's May and October. And just, have those vendors show up and have it on their schedule so that we can do that.
Good idea, Ruth. Thank you. And thank you, Maddie. I was glad you jumped in first and both of you shared your thoughts. One that is kind of the back end for us. We plant a lot of trees, but we're also losing a lot of trees to emerald ash borer. And a project that I want to work on is a little more fun, to take those stumps from those large ash trees, and we're going to have 5 of them in Washington Park that are going to be cut down this winter. So as we remove ash trees, I'm looking at doing a carving or a chainsaw art piece on the stumps and having them spread around the city in our parks as attractions and final use to some of our trees that are no longer able to serve us as trees.
Yeah, so coming up with ideas on what to carve would be good.
I have one idea. So I see on here BPS Green Team, more composting, focus on zero waste efforts, and that's kind of where I've kind of laid my time. And I was brought to attention by my Latin teacher, actually, that the Nebraska Education and Government, their sort of organization, they have a lot of recognition for schools and districts that participate in green activities. I was notified there are grants and things that they can apply for. And so one idea I have is basically kind of letting teachers and schools know that this opportunity is available, and kind of trying to push them forward, in every school coming up with their own little green project to go about for the year. And if they were to all participate, we can not only get them recognition and grants for it, but also if every school participates, even probably get recognition for a whole district with all of them participating in green/environmentally friendly activities.
I think that's a great idea. Also, as a Bellevue West alum, like when I've gone back and like talked to teachers and whatnot, they want to do a lot of this stuff. They just like I literally screenshotted the photo. I literally screenshotted the slide about all the grant opportunities, because there are teachers that want to apply for grants, and there are some faculty and staff at BPS that want to work on these initiatives. They just don't know what resources are available. So for sure.
Thank
So
you.
as kind of actually as a follow-up to that, we have a new partnership with Moleholes, Bellevue University does. And one of Moleholes' new objectives for this year is to start promoting native plants in people's gardens. And so one of the things that we've been trying to do is reach out to the public schools and say, you know, we can help you plant a native pollinator garden. And then follow up with monthly like BioBlitz events, because Nebraska Master Naturalist is adding a new program called Junior Master Naturalist to get kids more involved. And so I think these two could go really well hand in hand with each other.
Great.
And just kind of piggybacking on all this idea with getting the schools more involved in all the grants that are available, if we're doing native plants, kind of what's going on at Bellevue University, creating green spaces outside, or letting elementary schools especially know about, so they could have outdoor classrooms, which might be really useful in the COVID era. I know there's a couple in OPS that have created those. I know there's grants available. I'm not sure how it works with counties, but
they're coming. We just got to finish construction.
Awesome. These are great ideas.
This is Leah. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi. It's great to see everybody, and kind of on the other, moving towards the light, I should say. But anyways, great to hear the good ideas and stuff. The thought that came to mind when people are mentioning school stuff, I work locally in a Bellevue company. It's a national company, but we have a local clinic. We do have some great initiatives, but I've always thought about how to reach out to other either local Bellevue companies, or perhaps other kind of like-minded green organizations that are already in Bellevue, and how to collaborate with them. I don't know if those, I'm still pretty new to this group, so I don't know if there have been, I know you guys have talked about partnerships, but just wondering, you know, is there grants available for companies, or is there like an incentive kind of platform that you guys had kind of mentioned about, you know, if they help so much, then, you know, we X, Y, and Z. So just thinking out loud, because, you know, when you spoke about like the straw stuff, I'm like, you know, is there outreach that we can be doing? So I'm just, like I said, thinking out loud, and just appreciate everyone here. Thanks.
That's something that I was kind of wondering as well. I think a couple of people have kind of circled the drain on this, just about grant funding and like pooling resources and making sure that people are aware of what they can do in partnership with Green Bellevue. Is it worthwhile to make it easier to apply for grant funding? I was approached by a second student at Bellevue West who wanted to do a pollinator garden, and she was just a little unsure of the process and how to ask for funding from us, and how to basically make the whole thing kind of fall together. Is that something that we want to invest more time in, or would that be spreading ourselves too thin?
I would just offer a suggestion, and that is we keep creating new ones. That means somebody's got to water them, weed them, take care of them, and you have ongoing maintenance if they're going to be sustained. So it might be more productive to work on the existing ones and partner with what we've got currently. We've got 2 at the library that we're doing, as well as the rain garden. We've got all of the ones, I think there are 14 separate ones at the Veterans Home. So as somebody like Nancy, who's out there taking care of them on a regular basis, we can get them started, but unless somebody commits to taking care of them, then we have just one more task fewer people have to deal with.
My elementary school, when I went to school, we made a pollinator garden, and then I don't remember what organization started a nature club in our elementary school that was did by one of the foundation members and then one of our local teachers. And so the nature club went out weekly to weed and plant. And so if we were to start doing pollinator gardens, if that's something especially high schoolers are interested in, we would definitely have to build some sort of institution so we wouldn't have to be the ones to do it. And then that would also incite the youth to be more involved in the pollinator garden and give more like love and appreciation to it.
Yeah, I agree with that. We've got one at Two Springs School, and it's had a little bit of trouble getting anybody else but me every once in a while to come out and check on it.
On the Bellevue West side of things, I know Kat Warner probably knows Miss Hooper. She's the Latin teacher at Bellevue West. She really wants to have these types of projects start, especially on her end. She was really happy when I started the Project Revitalize, but we had Latin Club start again, and she wants a project that Latin Club can take that is environmentally based. I also know Carly Riatuso, who's supposed to be taking over when I graduate for Project Revitalize, has also been trying to restart the Ecology Club at Bellevue West. And so if either of those seem like possibilities, they could possibly take that as something that they decide to do and take care of over time as well.
And I think if we structure the grants appropriately, if we are involved, then that's something that we could kind of make conditional. You will be responsible for the maintenance and the care of this garden going forward, and make sure that that's kind of codified and written in.
I love that the Latin teacher wants to do environmental projects.
Oh yeah, Magistra Hooper, she's amazing. I miss her so much.
Baden, I'd like to be an advisor for your ecology club. We started a garden down in that ditch that runs to the north.
Yeah, it's right by the football field. It's like between the football
right
field
behind
and
the
the tennis
football
court.
field. Right now, there's only one species that I see that made it. And the rest of it was basically cattails or in a very aggressive root grass that took over. But some of it has, I was thinking maybe that ditch right above it where the water doesn't sit so long. That's my idea. But I'd be your advisor.
All right, that sounds amazing. I'll definitely let those people, along with myself, I'll meet with them and I'll let them know that there is an advisor who's willing to do that. So thank you.
I'm also willing to help out on that if she needs help, because we're doing an environmental science club at Bellevue University, and this is exactly the type of project they're looking to help out on. So we'd be happy to help as well.
Awesome.
Great, thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Tom. And Baden, Tom is a retired teacher and he's still substitute. So if you need that to share about his background.
I will definitely do that. Thank you.
I hate to cut this short, but we do have to move on. So I think we've already kind of covered this next slide, ways you can help. It sounds like we don't have a shortage of that. There are plenty of things from coming up with amazing ideas and finding the support for those ideas, solidifying things on our end for grants, serving on the board of directors, organizing a program. One thing that we don't stress enough to our general members is to submit hours. When you volunteer on environmental projects, submit those hours to, I believe the address is admin@greenbellevue.org, and we can use those hours as in-kind and grant reporting hours for environmental projects here in the Bellevue community. And if you're really excited about writing grants, we could always use help with that. And if you don't know how to, let us know and we'll help you figure out how to write grants. All right, it is time to move on to our general membership meeting. Members of Green Bellevue are simply people who have volunteered at least 3 hours to efforts that improve the environment or donated to Green Bellevue. So when you attend one of our outreach meetings, that's considered being a volunteer, because you can't leave one of our meetings and not share something you've learned with somebody else. So that is promoting outreach and the environmental aspects of what we do. Any members can make a recommendation to the board of directors. They can look at the minutes and records and financial statements of Green Bellevue and the board of directors with reasonable notice. And members vote on the following: any motions made at general and special meetings, any proposals, specifically amendments to articles of incorporation and bylaws, and the election of directors, which is what is happening today. So, Dawn?
Michelle, thank you very much. It's a real pleasure for me, and it's certainly an honor to thank these 4 people who have served on our board. Sharon Ray is our immediate past president, and COVID and some other issues have caused her to pull back some, and we thank Michelle for stepping up to do some of the fill-in. Also, by the way, happy birthday, Michelle.
Thank you.
Well, happy
And
birthday.
Michelle's sharing her birthday with us. She's having a party right now.
Well, it's tomorrow, but we'll take it.
Okay. Sharon was our past president. She stepped up and became the first president after me and did an exceptional job of bringing Bellevue University into the fold, helping us to have a new place for programs, being able to bring in other university faculty onto the board, and to help broaden our initiatives at the university level, getting volunteers as students. Sharon has been a true asset in jumping in to not only have ideas, but to run the programs. I could go on, but as Michelle said, our time is short. Let me move to Ruth Richter, who is my right hand, left hand, and every leg too. Ruth has been there from the start. Right after the first meeting, she jumped in and hasn't laid up since. She's able to do things that I couldn't even dream of doing on the computer and on the social things that really are a promotion for what we do, expanding Earth Day, bringing neighbors and community and family. And she is a partner extraordinaire. I couldn't ask for a better person. I better leave it at that for now. Andy Severson has been at Bellevue Public Schools and has helped us and getting some of the recycling and some solar discussions going there. Lenore Cho is in the Air Force and has been also very helpful and involved as a member, and then became a board member. So thanks to each of the 4 of them for their service to the board. We know you may not be on the board, but your heart is still with us. And from my heart to yours, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you,
I'm the only
Dawn.
here, so I'll say you're welcome. But, and I also just want to say, well, people are probably wondering, you're rolling off the board, but I'm at my term limit. I actually could serve 1 more year because my first year was 1 year. But Don and Tom are in the same boat. And so if all 3 of us roll off together, we didn't think that would be the right thing to do. So because of all of you, these 7 people that we are going to introduce that are coming, it made me feel very, very comfortable to make this my year that I'm going to have a reprieve and not serve on the board, although I'll be very active in helping with the Earth Day event and whatever else. So thank you.
And I would just mention, thank you, Ruth. that Arcelia Marquez and Aislinn Dill were two of our student board members, and both of them had initiatives, walked in our parades, helped us with our activities, both of them active at their schools in helping to mobilize and organize student activities. Their leadership also very important to us, and we're very grateful to them. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to talk about our new appointees and future directors. Our student board member appointees are Baden Brumbaugh, who you've heard. He was in our video 3 or 4 times, and so he's already just been very active before even being on the board at Bellevue West. And in a moment, I'm going to have Baden, these folks introduce themselves. But we also have Mercedes Silva from Bellevue East, and she basically reached out to us and said, how do I get more involved? And I said, I know how you can get more involved. And so she accepted to be on the board. And Maddie Vasquez over at Bellevue University, starting their new environmental science club. And so Baden, go ahead and just give us a brief introduction if you would.
Yes, thank you so much. So my name is Baden Brumbaugh. I'm a senior at Bellevue West. I'm an officer in Bellevue West FBLA, which is mainly how I got involved with Green Bellevue. And as most of you know me, I'm one of the project leads of Project Revitalize. So kind of piggybacking off of that, my experience with Green Bellevue mostly involved Project Revitalize to start. Jillian Cromwell got me in communication with Ruth, and from there it was kind of all history. I had a ton of support throughout my project with Green Bellevue, such as financial support, opportunities to get the word out about our project through Earth Day and other meetings, recognition, and honestly so much more that I could probably spend this whole meeting talking about. The reason I accepted this nomination is because I believe I bring a fresh new set of ideas, not only as a student, but as a very business-minded individual. I'm super involved in FBLA, and that's kind of how this project came around. And using my experience from Project Revitalize, I really want to spark more students to take chances, to do projects similar to what I did, and kind of get that conversation going, basically saying it might seem daunting, but these projects actually are a lot simpler than some people might think and can cause a lot of good. And about passions involving the environment, obviously my passions mainly involve zero waste and education. Most of my junior year was spent pitching seemingly daunting zero waste efforts to my peers, and by educating them on how simple it really was to form sustainable habits, I learned that even high school students are happy to help their community once they realize how easy it is. And I believe that can be spread throughout any grade level and any age group. So thank you.
Very good. Okay, Mercedes.
Hi, I'm Mercedes Silva. I'm a junior at Bellevue East, and I'm still new, maybe just a year. I'm doing at-home learning, so when I go back next semester, my goal is to start an ecology club. I was too timid at my old school, but I have educated myself on the environment and the damage we've done, so I just want to try and make a difference. I accepted the nomination because I want to expand my green efforts outside of my household. And I am very, very passionate about the environment. Breaks my heart to see what we've done, but I also have so much hope for all the people like you guys who are trying to make an effort to change things. So yeah, I'm just trying to do what I can, doing my part as a young person to do what I can to help the world.
Thank you. And Maddie Vasquez.
Yes, hi, my name is Maddie. I'm a second year student at Bellevue University. Previously, I was a student at Omaha Henry Doorly Zoo and Aquarium Zoo Academy. And if you guys know anything about Zoo Academy, the environment is our life. It's been my life since probably the second grade. I'm majoring in biology. I wish it was environmental sciences, but we're starting an environmental science program at Bellevue. So yeah, I hope to be a coral reef biologist. I'm a big ocean fan, even though I live in Nebraska. But the reason I accepted this nomination was because I'm incredibly passionate about the environment. I always have been. And I'm really excited to see that I'm not the only one and that there's a group of people that can support me and my ideas, and I can support all of your ideas and further better the world.
Fantastic. Thank you. Next slide. Okay, so we have board members who have been serving who are up for re-election, and they have accepted another 2-year term. And Tom Ruse as one of our founding members. You heard his passions around trees and plantings and so forth. Nancy Scott, also one of our founders, and she is very passionate about pollinators and super knowledgeable about planting. She put on one of our most informative programs that we've ever had on planting, a very good educator. And Don Preister, he was appointed by Mayor Mixon to start this effort in Bellevue back in 2009. Just a lifelong person committed to the environment, as Nancy and Tom as well. And Kat Warner, and Kat has been involved with this, I think, for about 4 years or so. She has helped put together some fantastic programs. Just a great contributor, and she's a student in UNL. And Jillian Cromwell represents Hillside Solutions and has really helped us with our composting education efforts and knowledge, has put on a number of programs for us as well. Then we also have new member nominees, 4, and we're so pleased with this group. They're going to introduce themselves as well. Stephen Thyberg, Sarah Gahn, Annabelle Major, and Margaret Stamp. So would you like to go first, Stephen?
Who?
Oh, I'm unmuted, thanks. Okay, let's see, I'm a semi-retired school-based mental health counselor with Methodist Hospital's community counseling program. I'm an activist. Currently, I'm a volunteer with the Kara Eastman campaign. I'm a creator and primary organizer for most of the Omaha Peace and Justice Expos. I started the Bellevue West Ecology Club in 2010 and left in 2017. I helped my wife with numerous theater projects in the past with Bellevue West and more recently with Bellevue Little Theater. Let's see. Involvement with Green Bellevue. Let's see. Master gardeners like Tom and Lisa Swanson helped our ecology club at Bellevue West create that garden that Tom mentioned, the native garden, and helped get the school campus designated as wildlife habitat. Green Bellevue Club, with the club with Green Bellevue helped labeled storm drains as well as planted trees, weeded and mulched the Bellevue West Arboretum. The Ecology Club has been part of several Sarpy Earth Days, including reading green books to kids. Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Aerospace.
What's that?
The parade.
Yeah, I rolled the earth ball down the main street for the aerospace parade. That's lots of fun. I'll share though. I'll share. I was a 2012 environment champion. Let's see. So why did I accept the nomination? With my recent semi-retirement, I now have more time to devote to great efforts like Green Bellevue. And my passion about the environment, my passion is to wake up the planet, or at least some corner of it, to the existential environmental crisis and to activate effort to make a difference.
Thank you, Stephen. We've been after you for a while, so we're excited. And also Stephen brought us Kat Warner, so that's another huge feather in your cap. Sarah, Dawn.
Hi guys, I'm Dr. Sarah Gahn. I am a new instructor at Bellevue University. I've been passionate about the environment since I was a little girl. My family has lived all over the world, and we've really got a firsthand account of how communities are built around environmental services. And so my big passion in my career has been, species conservation in the hopes that ecosystem services are maintained. And so I'm actually a conservation geneticist. So I study how populations change or species either come to fruition or go extinct. And then I'm also really passionate about outreach and education. I think unless we can, inspire our younger generation, it all just kind of dies with us. And so any opportunity that I have for outreach or education, I'm all over it. And I'm really excited to see the kinds of people that are involved with Green Bellevue. I think it's a really good mesh of ideas and passions.
Thank you, Sarah. Annabelle Major.
Hey, good to
Hi.
see everybody. So I work with Hillside Solutions too with Jillian, and I'm an adjunct at Bellevue University, like several folks here working at Bellevue University. So I'm definitely humbled by all the talent in this group. And then I also do some marketing with a company called Here Now, which is mobile hearing services for the elderly. I have not actually worked directly with Green Bellevue, but I've been adjacent to them for a long time, I believe, especially like just kind of collaborating with partners that have always had direct connections. And so I'm basically accepted the nomination because I am very passionate about everything that you guys do. The work that you're doing, encouraging students like Maddie and Baden and Mercedes, engaging with the public, recognizing the value of sustainability across all disciplines and businesses, integrating that through the whole county and beyond, honestly, with all these conservation efforts. This board makes a difference, and I'm humbled to be nominated, and I'm hopeful to be a part of it. Just a little bit of background for me. I have a wildlife biology degree, but my focus was always natural resources interpretation. So when it comes to interp, that's kind of been the core of everything that I've done. I worked with the Nebraska Master Naturalist Program. I was the program coordinator there for several years. And currently work with a business that's focused on moving towards a zero waste economy. I guess that's kind of, it about me. I'm not that excited.
We look forward to knowing more. And Margaret Stamp.
Hi guys. I got involved through Green Bellevue, actually through my daughters. They're very active environmentally with some programs, and I really appreciated the warm welcome Green Bellevue gave me. I think the first event I went to, I think I showed up with like a Starbucks cup and a plastic bag, and everyone was still very friendly to me, even though my kids about killed me when I showed up and to give them something. But since then, I created a pollinator garden at one of our apartment communities. I think I was an environmental champion. My background is, well, I'm a vice president of a company now, but I used to run a nonprofit, and I've served on many boards. I really like to write grants. I like to do fundraisers. I've done everything from tea and purse events to golf tournaments to cemetery tours. So I really like raising money. I like doing like legacy donor programs. And then on the environmental side, I really am into seed saving and tall grass prairies and stuff like that.
And I met Margaret, we were in Leadership Bellevue together.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, all right. Well, thank you all. Very, very nice recaps. We get to know you more, and you get to know us in the future. And is there another slide for this, or?
Oh, this is it. It's time for voting.
It's time for. Are you going to do that, Michelle, or?
Yeah, unless there are any objections, I think that we should vote on re-election of the entire slate as presented, and then vote for new member election on the entire slate as presented. So if there are any objections to either of those, please let me know.
I will second the motion. Any questions or any anyone else that would like to serve on our board and be part of this slate?
Okay. All in favor of re-electing the slate as presented, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? All right, all board members up for re-election have been re-elected. Congratulations. And now for the new board members. All in favor of electing all new board member nominees as presented, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Congratulations to all of our new board members, Stephen, Sarah, Annabelle, and Margaret. We look forward to working with everybody.
And our student nominees.
And our student appointees, yes. So mark your calendars if you haven't already for the first Saturday in November. I believe that's the 7th. That will be our board retreat and planning session. All right, so our next general meeting is November 8th, COVID-19. Bring any other ideas or questions to that meeting, or feel free to email any of us. If you go to our website, you can access at least Dawn's email. I think we're all on there, but we can all email Dawn if we need to, or the admin account at greenbellevue.org. So I want to say thank you to all of you for joining us today and for all of the contributions you have made, not just to Green Bellevue, but to your families, to your communities, and to the earth. We look forward to working with everybody and have an excellent week.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Welcome
Happy
aboard.
Christmas, Bill.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard, all the newbies.
Welcome and thank you to everyone. Great meeting. Thank you, Michelle.
A lot of talent coming in.
Yep.
Oh,
Thanks,
excellent.
Katie.
Kat, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I still have Dr. Scholsky's Environment Champion. How do I get that to you to get it to her?
Yeah, from last time I talked, from the emails when I was talking to her, she doesn't really care to have it, to like have the award. She's like, oh yeah, this is cool, and she sent it. But like for the physical thing, that's kind of how she responded.
Okay, we'll skip it then, but she's earned it. She knows she has been awarded it. Good, thank you.